How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the No Deceits podcast. I hope you're doing well. I'm home for the holidays right now, and today we're going to be talking about how I think everyone, or how this has worked for me, how everyone should seek clarity and not happiness, and how when people are feeling like they don't know what to do and are feeling really lost in their lives, direction and finding a structure, a schedule, a ways to go is the best thing, rather than chasing like some high or some immediate happiness or some goal for themselves. Now, I think the reason that I've thought about this a lot is I have had a lot of stress that comes with managing this nonprofit, and just because it's founding it just has really made a lot of decisions for me to make, and caused a lot of decision paralysis and feeling like I might have regret about any decisions like that. And then also with Brown, with the open curriculum, I really kind of tailored my own classes and things like that, and I never felt like I had my own structure. And because of those things, I really felt like I had nowhere to go and nowhere to work hard towards. And I think that's the crux of this entire talk, that I believe and I want everyone at NES to believe that everyone can work hard and get out of their ditches and get out of the hard times in their lives. But the problem is, what happens when you don't know what to do? What happens when you don't know what will make you feel better? What happens when you don't know if this is the right decision for you? What happens if you think that this could potentially make you feel worse about yourself? Or that you're further working hard into something that you don't feel necessarily passionate about, but you don't know how to get out of it. So I've played around with those feelings of regret and those feelings of decision paralysis so much. And there's actually been an analogy that really makes me feel like having a direction or just making a plan for yourself throughout the week is genuinely what will always make you feel better about yourself. Not worrying about chasing a specific goal or something like that, or a specific outcome in your life, just having that structure. Because I was gonna say, the analogy that I kind of live by is imagine you have to go up a really, really big hill. And you know exactly what is on the other side of that hill in this race, and you know what it'll make you feel, and you know that there are people, maybe trainers or teachers or mentors, that have told you what will happen in this hill and the specific ways to get there, and you have all these people that are going to help you get there and achieve that. And now imagine you're blindfolded, and now you're in the dark, and you don't have any of those people or trainers anymore that are going to help you achieve this hill. And imagine how much harder that's going to be. You get so stressed out about each step, worrying about if you're going even in the right direction towards this hill. You don't know no one has told you what's going on the other side of the hill. You don't even know how hard you have to run or what it's going to do for you. And I think that perfectly describes how I've kind of felt in the past couple of years, where if I can just feel like there are some people that I can lean on, and there's a direct goal or structure that can push me in the right direction, and I know I can get XYZ out of this, that makes life so much easier. And I don't know, there have been so many times where I feel like I haven't had direction in my life. And to add one final thing about the race, like, yeah, you I just feel like I wouldn't be able to know how hard to work towards that specific thing. Like, the effort, everything feels so convoluted when you don't have anything around you and kind of are trailblazing. And that all kind of roots from having really no direction in your life. I think most of my depression and depressive waves and episodes have come from when I felt the most lost. And that in turn has caused the most sadness. And like I said, I truly believe everyone has their own ability to make themselves better, to heal, to want to get better, to get out of their hole, to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. But just when people don't know what that could be, that's when it gets really, really hard. And that's when the overwhelm really, really kicks in. And I think that kind of begs the question of like, okay, Michael, what do I do now? Right? I get what you're saying. You can preach all of this you want. You found your direction, or maybe half of it, but that took you maybe a world of pain and with my figuring out what I want to do with my life at school, or figuring out the path of no empty seats. But that still took a lot. What do you suggest even in terms of this monumental kind of scary thing of finding direction? And to that I'll say, lean on your friends, because if they've been around you this long and you've been around them this long, you guys both know each other what is best for you. And just really start carving out so any habits that you know definitively will get you in the right direction. And I think also on the other side, realize how stressful and how overwhelming those kinds of decisions are. Those you should in my opinion, I always think that those decisions are way harder than doing the actual work. If I know I have to get from X to Y, if I know I have to do this score on this test, that's way easier than studying my ass off for a test and not knowing if it's for me. If that makes sense. Not knowing if this class is for me, if this major is for me. And it makes you feel even worse that you're working hard towards something you don't even know if you care about. That's how I've always viewed it. If you have all the clarity and conviction in your life that I know I want to do this with my life. I know when I want to be a lawyer, law school, I know I need to get this to go to this, and these grades and this, and I want to do this extracurricular because it means a lot to me and it'll contribute to the welfare and my passions and my goals. That's so much easier than studying for something that you feel like you don't care about. And I think all of us should kind of reach that conviction. So keep talking to your friends, keep talking to people that you feel like aren't pushing any agendas onto you, that kind of know you best, of like, hey Michael, all I know about you is that you need to be around people. People is your best skill. Connecting with people is your best skill, and it also is what you would succeed the most at, and that's probably what you enjoy the most. And that helps me be able to talk to a friend and be like, okay, let's cross off this. Let's look at all 250 majors at Brown and let's cross off half of them, right? And just having that friend or that person that can kind of talk you through things is so helpful. And I guess naturally it's just gonna come with a lot of stress, right? It is gonna be really hard. It's gonna be uncomfortable, kind of getting out of your comfort zone. And there's really no way around that, which is really hard. But I think the thing you definitely need to remind yourself the most is that, yeah, those decisions, they're gut wrenching. They can really knock you out for a couple weeks trying to figure out what you want to do with your life or how you want to approach things. I think one of the most reassuring things that anyone's ever told me, it was my mom, and she was talking about how, or maybe it was my mom. It was someone I really, really respected, And they were like, my 20s was easily the hardest times of my life because I just didn't know where to go. And this person was talking about the same analogy kind of without me even bringing it up there. She was like, I just felt like I was blindfolded walking in different directions and I had no clue if I was going in the right place. And I didn't know what I was working towards. And that's way worse than putting your nose to the grindstone and really working hard towards something that you feel good about. I fully believe everyone can work hard towards the things they care about. I've always had that faith in people, but just when you don't know, it can be so hard. So for me to hear that from someone I respected so much, that your 20s, when you're making these what can feel like monumental decisions, and I hope I can look back in 5 years, 10 years and be like, none of that mattered. But right now, it feels like each decision is so monumental and can drastically change the trajectory of your life. That's really hard, man. And to hear someone that I respected so much say, it can't, in a lot of ways, it can get harder, but in a lot of ways, it can't get harder than this. Because once I slowly weave in and figure out what I want to do with my life, then I'll slowly find my niche more. I'll find the people I care about that care about my niche and myself as a person more. And in my 30s and 40s, I imagine that there'll be a lot of different other hardships, but at least I can feel like I have filled a niche, a role, and kind of found my community. So that's been really reassuring. Knowing that, feeling like you have all these options in front of you in college, and how overwhelming it can be. It is as hard as it feels. However overwhelmed you feel and are like, this is actually suffocating, it is. And you don't need to discount that. Like, yeah, there are such hard decisions you have to make in college, and it could be super hard. So yeah, I mean, just really rely on the people or people around you, and give yourself that grace. Give yourself that grace that you are a person that cares. You're not lazy. You're not someone who you can do hard things, and maybe the reason you haven't felt too motivated towards something is because that passion hasn't found you yet. And once you find that passion towards something, or that direction where you don't have to make these managerial decisions towards it, that makes it a whole lot easier. And that's probably what you've been spectating and comparing yourself to other people about. I don't know if this makes any sense. I'm glad I actually talked about this. I'm looking at it right now. 138 weeks ago, I talked about this. This meant something to me in April 2nd, 2023. And I mean, I said the same exact stuff. It's kind of funny. I mean, I guess it's worth it to talk about it right now. The caption was, my mental health has gone substantially better when I stopped asking God if I could feel happier, but instead asked him to shed more light on where I need to take my life. Figuring out your passions and then building the blueprint to achieve your goals is personally one of my favorite parts about life. Clarity comes before any goal, but if you have no idea what to do with your life, every action you do is second guessed, and wasted energy can leave you feeling worthless. Clock it. Depression can manifest the most when you feel lost. Your lowest points can be when you don't know what to do or when to do it. When someone finds clarity within their passions, the newfound goals might be tough, but the process and finish line becomes clear. Anyone can do anything, but not knowing the anything is when things get super complicated. How's it going? Sorry about that. My phone died. This is actually a day later, but I just want to close out this episode and read the last couple of bits about this post that I made about 3 years ago. If if you don't know, and this is some stuff I talked about too. If you don't know the distance of a race, how will you know how hard to run? Better yet, are you even in the right race? However, if we could all see a predestined path laid out for us, life wouldn't be nearly as fun. The ability to forge your future and sometimes not have clarity is what makes life so exciting. So yeah, to close this off, I think in terms of this podcast, I feel like I finally have a forum to be able to, and a space to finally be able to talk about what I've always wanted to talk about with mental health, with my experiences, and with the different and thousands of conversations I've shared. And I think I have felt lost in so many ways, like I've talked about with school, with NES, with my specific goal, my career goals and things like that. And being able to talk with friends and have a avenue that I feel like I know how, and be able to have an avenue that I feel like I can share my thoughts and kind of really centralize and really focus on what's really important to me. That's been so important. So I mean, I like to think I'm living I'm living what I'm preaching in the ways that I was talking to my friends about what I felt like I needed to do when I was feeling super lost, and they've talked to me about this podcast and felt like this was the best way, the best medium for me to share my story. So yeah, that's why I think I really implore it so much. And yeah, in terms of how kind of my life's been going on, back for Thanksgiving break, which is nice. Trying to do my best, take care of myself. Feel a little stressed. Have a lot of stuff to do this week, and still need to figure out things with the business going into it. And I don't know. I'm really happy to be with the people, that I haven't seen in a while. They've and I think I want to make a podcast about that soon. Actually, I can't see it right now, but it's snowing so much right now. It's like a winter wonderland, and I think this is like a perfect time to talk about, nostalgia and coming home for the holidays, because that means so much to me. So, and honestly, the guilt sometimes. So I'm really excited to get this episode out now, film another episode before I leave tomorrow, and yeah, hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself. Sorry this episode's a little late, but it's really exciting. Like, I try to, for anyone that's listening that feels like they're needing to do something, I halted this podcast for a year and a half or 2 years. I've been wanting to do this since freshman year of college, and all I can think about now is not like the regret of feeling like I could have been doing so much more if I just started earlier. I'm just happy that I have something consistent and something that I can always rely on and feel like something that's associated with me, that's almost ingrained. So it's cool to say I have 19 episodes out. I'm liking the thumbnails and everything. And yeah, that's kind of my life update. So hope you're doing well. I'll see you next week. And yeah, take care of yourself.